Hi everyone, it's Erin from the Provincial Farmhouse. In today's video, I'm going to be creating some French farmhouse decor using Creality's Falcon 2 Pro laser. I'm going to be working with the 22 watt laser. This is a fully enclosed unit with a 360-degree view of your project. The top section was the main part that I had to put together, just a little frame that I had to screw together with a few little screws. And then I put the red plastic cover there through the little slats on the side. It was pretty straightforward. So as you can see, the little door opens here, makes it really easy to get your projects in and out, and you do not need to wear glasses when operating. For the side pieces, I just screwed those in with these little screws on the side, and then the whole top case attaches to the base unit with the little screws along the bottom. Now the base unit does come completely ready to go, thankfully, and it has a USB camera, which makes positioning your projects a bit easier. This part down here is the inputs and the power, and of course you also have an emergency stop button and a little locking mechanism. This machine is all about safety. Now on the inside, I did also have to put in these little metal bars. It's a honeycomb system, so any debris falls down through the slats down into the tray that's underneath. Now that tray slides out really easy underneath. You just pull it out and then you can collect all of your debris, and that way you're keeping it all nice and tidy and nice and safe. The laser also comes with a built-in air purification system. That little hose can go out the window, and it also has another fan there that actually gets plugged into the main unit itself, and it blows air onto the laser. This helps to reduce charring, and again, it's all about safety. The laser mechanism can be adjusted here with the little knobs. That was really easy for me to install, and of course, I then put the air pump hose in there as well, so very straightforward. Now that you've had a quick look at the machine, let's get started on those crafts. For my first project, I'm going to be working on this simple little cow design. Now, I have already put some plywood into the laser, and now I am going to be having a look at how it's going to set out. So the laser actually frames it out and shows you where it's going to be doing the work. Makes it a lot easier. Once I'm happy with that, I'm going to go in and just double check that I'm happy with the speed and the power of the laser, and obviously how many times it's going to go around and cut the piece out. Once I'm happy with that, I hit start. I just love that I can view this from any angle. I don't have to worry about safety glasses, and I can watch that laser work its magic. And again, it does work quite quickly. The machine is constantly monitoring for any risk of fire. It has an emergency shut off, so safety is of the highest importance. You can see my little cow is ready to go. I'm going to pull out the plywood, and then I'm going to move on to my next project. So this particular one, as I'm sure you're beginning to see, is a sweet little chicken. Again, I kept it pretty basic, and I love farmhouse, so this is always a winner. I'm going to take that out, perfectly cut, and then I'm going to move on to the next project, which is a sweet little pig. So I've gone for the classic farmhouse animals for the first project. I then decided that I wanted to add some text to my project, so I went into Lightburn and typed out a few little sayings or labels that I could put on there. I've kept the same settings because I'm still using plywood, and then I've hit start. Now I am just watching this through the display window, and it cut it out so quickly. And if any of the little letters fell through, I was able to just open up the drawer and just pull those out very easily. Next, I'm going to take out all of the little letters that we've cut out, but I'm also going to cut the little sentences or headings into strips because I'm going to use those outlines as a guide to help me place all of those little letters so that they're nice and straight and evenly spaced. I taped my little guide in place, and now I'm just using some Gorilla Super Glue on the back of each of the letters. I ended up switching to a different type of wood glue because this stuck down just a little bit too quickly. I did have a little bit of the plywood sticking there, so just keep that in mind. It was a little bit hard to keep those letters nice and tidy because of how small they were. So I'm going to then peel that all up and then move on and repeat the same process for our little chicken. I've poured some of that glue out and I'm just dipping the letters in as I go and adding them into the different little gaps. So again, this is a really great guide to be able to have your letters nice and evenly spaced. Once I'd finished adding the letters, I took out some stain that I'm going to be using on each of these projects. I'm going to wet the plywood first. This helps the stain to absorb more evenly and spread a little bit better. It doesn't soak in as quick, so you're able to get a bit more of an even finish. I'm going to be staining each of our farmhouse animals. Once the stain was dry, I started on the cow design first. I just have some white chalk paint here and I'm going over the top, but you can see I'm allowing some of that stain to peek through. I want this to have a weathered and worn look. I ended up doing 2 coats in this particular style of applying paint. And then once that was dry, I just took a little makeup sponge and I've got some black chalk paint and I'm just going over the top of our letters Milk and Cream Co. I'm loving how that black stands out against the white and just how precise each of those letters have been cut out by the Falcon Laser Pro 2. I'm then going to take that same little sponge and go around the edge of my cow just to give it a bit of a black outline. Moving on to our sweet little pig, I'm going to be applying some black chalk paint, and similar to the previous project, I am going to allow some of that wood stain to show through. I am going over the top of the letters with the black as well and just trying to keep my brush strokes going in the same direction. Once I was happy with that, I took out the paintbrush that had the white chalk paint on it. I started using that and then decided to switch over to that makeup sponge just to keep things a little bit tidier, and it definitely did make it a little bit easier. Moving on to the chicken now, and I'm going to take that same sponge with the white chalk paint, and as you can see, I'm applying it over the top of the little letters there. And then once I'm happy with that, I took out that same brush that I was using with the white chalk paint. I haven't put any extra on, but I'm going to go around and do some dry brushing over the top of the design, and I'm allowing that brush to catch the edges because I'm really loving that white highlight that that's creating. Once each of these were dry, I attached some twine to the back just with some hot glue, and here's how they turned out. I think they are super sweet. This was such an easy craft to do. It would be perfect to make up some little craft kits for some of your kids perhaps, or if you have a small business, to pop those in your booth or on your website. I think they are super sweet. Let me know what you think of these in the comments. For my second project, I'm going to be working on this beautiful ornate arch. This is a file that I bought from Etsy. I will link it in the description. Now, I did end up changing the settings because I am now using it on MDF. So this laser can be used on a variety of materials. And even though today I'm mainly doing cutting, it can also do engraving. So there's definitely a lot of possibilities with this laser. So it cut really well. I think I only did 3 passes, and you can go back and freeze the screen to see what settings I was using. But MDF is so cost effective and budget friendly, so you can definitely make some really affordable crafts using this laser, and they look so professional. So as you can see here, the laser is done. I can take it out, and all I'm going to have to do is pop out those extra pieces. The file I bought off Etsy also had another ornate arch design, so I decided to go ahead and cut another one of these. Now this laser can cut a surface area of 40 by 40 centimeters, so you can make some really nice, lovely big crafts, and you can also do some batch creating as well. So again, small business owner, you're saving a lot of time if you want to make a bunch of craft blanks, and that's definitely what I'm going to be doing in the future. So my project is ready here. I'm going to take that out, and if I have any debris in the drawer, I'll just pull that out. Now I'm going to take these outside and seal them just with some clear spray sealer. This is MDF. I want to seal it before I get to work, and then when it was dry, I took out a white chalk paint again, and I am going a lot heavier around the outside of my ornate arch frame section, and then in the center, you'll see that I'm going a lot lighter. I'm almost dry brushing over the center. So I just really wanted to sort of define that frame around the outside a little bit more. The file that I bought from Etsy also had just the outside frame design, so I could cut that with the laser and glue it on top, and then I would be giving my piece a bit more depth and dimension. I'm then going to move on to the other arch that we cut, and I'm using this more duck egg blue style paint. I will link each of the products that I used in the description, of course. I'm going to paint the entire frame with this beautiful blue tone, and it took about 1.5 coats. I just had to go in and do a few touches here and there. So again, I could make the outside frame a different color if I wanted. There's so many possibilities with a craft like this, and I am just so excited for the possibilities of using this laser and creating blanks that I can use to craft with. I can be creating all different kinds of unique pieces using that laser and some of my paint. So very excited for that. As you can see, I'm going in here with some of that white chalk paint again, and I'm just dry brushing the center section with that white paint, and I am leaving the outside section to frame it out. Once I was happy with the coverage there, I did go in with a little bit more of that duck egg sort of color, and I'm just going to tidy up the edges where maybe I've gone a little bit outside of that area. I did also decide on both of these arches to use a little bit of sandpaper to do a bit of light distressing, just to give these a bit more of a vintage worn feel. And here's a look at my finished arches. I am so pleased with these and so excited for the possibilities of this laser. Those designs are so beautiful and intricate, and they were so quick and easy to do. Let me know what you think of these in the comments. My final project is actually a combination of a file that I bought off Etsy, but then I played around with Lightburn and I added the welcome design in the center there to create a custom piece. So once I was happy with the settings for that, I'm using the same ones as I did with the arches. I am just really enjoying watching this laser do its work, and I'm using MDF again, so very cost effective and very, very quick to cut. And the size of this is about, I believe, 3 millimeters thick. Once the laser had finished cutting, obviously I'm going to open up that door and get my wonderful creation out. Once I've removed all of those extra pieces, I took this outside and sealed it with a clear coat. And then once that was completely dry, I then moved on to the paint. Now I'm using a black metallic paint here. I'm just dabbing and stippling that on. I want it to look a little bit like a cast iron sign, and using this painting method and the color that I am definitely helped add to that feel. And I just think it definitely looks like a very convincing garden sign. Now this is MDF, so I probably wouldn't put it outside, but if you wanted to, you could definitely cut some plywood or something like that to be able to have this design outside. And here's a look at my finished welcome sign. I just love that this machine is going to give me the capability to create my own custom wood blanks. There is so many possibilities. Gone are the days where those big companies are the only ones that have access to technology like this. We can have it in our very own home. I have mine set up on the dining table, so it isn't too cumbersome. It's going to definitely be a game changer if you have a small business or you just really love to craft. If you would like to get your own Falcon 2 Pro laser, make sure you check out the links in the description below and let me know if you had a favorite project from my video today. If you enjoyed today's video, I would really appreciate it if you would hit that like button, comment, and if you would like more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.